Have you ever realized that the most significant fears faced by people over 80 aren't always the ones you hear about? Many folks believe that the fear of death is the most pressing concern at that age. But if you take the time to talk with those in their 80s and beyond, you'll discover a different story. Surprisingly for many, the thought of death is what keeps them up at night. Instead, they often worry about the things that precede it. These are subtle, creeping changes that affect their freedom, their mental capacity, and their sense of belonging in the world. These fears may not shout for attention, but they are very real, influencing how these individuals navigate their lives more than they might recognize. In today's video, we'll explore the 7 most common fears faced by older adults after they turn 80. These fears stretch beyond mere health concerns and medical checklists. From the anxiety of losing independence to the haunting worry of being forgotten, every fear reflects a deeper truth about life and living. These fears serve not just as concerns, but as signals that something vital in their lives is at risk, even before life's end arrives. So, stay with me until the end. We won't just list these fears. We'll delve into their meanings, explore why they arise, and discuss ways to lessen their burden on your life. Some of these might resonate with you, while others may come as a surprise, but every single one carries a truth that deserves more attention. If you're over 60 or know someone who is, this video offers insight and comfort, along with a fresh perspective on the journey ahead. So, let's dive in. First on our list is the fear of losing independence. This is one of the most profound fears that tends to grow quietly as people age past 80. The thought of not being able to dress oneself, manage medications, or handle daily tasks without assistance looms large. It's not solely about needing help, it's what that help signifies. For many older adults, it feels like a significant fracture in the foundation of their identity. After a lifetime of self-sufficiency, of caring for themselves, and perhaps even nurturing a family or running a business, the notion of requiring someone else's assistance for simple tasks like brushing teeth or tying shoelaces can be hard to accept. Even when these moments arrive gently, perhaps due to a small slip or a minor mistake, they carry a heavy emotional burden. You might not voice it, but a nagging question forms in your mind. Am I still myself if I can't do what I used to? I once met a man named Walter, who was 84 years old and took immense pride in his independence. Even as his knees began to betray him, he insisted on handling everything by himself. However, one morning, while trying to take a shower, he fell and had to call his son for assistance. That incident was more than just a physical fall, it shook him to his core. He reflected, I used to carry lumber and build porches, and now I'm calling someone to help me off the bathroom floor. The transition from being a doer to needing help can feel like a threat to one's dignity, but let's be clear. Independence does not vanish the moment you require assistance. Instead, it transforms. It becomes about making choices, expressing preferences, and retaining your sense of agency, even when your body needs support. Independence isn't merely a physical state, it encompasses mental and emotional facets. It's about saying, yes, I need help, but I still have control over how I live my life. The key lies in preparing before any crisis hits. Establishing supports early on before desperation sets in. Embracing tools like grab bars, walkers, or pre-cut vegetables should not be viewed as signs of weakness. Rather, they are bridges that keep you engaged in life. Each adjustment is a statement. I'm still in this. I'm still living on my terms. Remember, having certain limitations doesn't equate to losing your identity. If you can redefine independence, not as doing everything alone, but as having the freedom to shape your life, you'll discover more peace, more control, and less fear as you age. Next, we have the fear of cognitive decline. There's a unique kind of anxiety that creeps in when you can't recall the name of someone you've known for years, or when you walk into a room and forget what you intended to do. After 80, this fear transcends being a minor annoyance. It deepens into existential questions. Am I losing myself? Is this the beginning of something I can't halt? For many older adults, the dread of cognitive decline often surpasses the fear of physical ailments. A broken hip can heal, and a heart condition can be managed, but losing your mental faculties, your words, your memories, your ability to engage in conversations, feels like losing the very essence of who you are. I once spoke with an 82-year-old woman named Carol who had always been sharp, witty, and well-informed. But she started noticing small lapses, forgetting dates, retelling stories, misplacing familiar objects. Her greatest concern wasn't embarrassment. It was the thought of becoming someone her children wouldn't recognize. "I don't want to be in the room but not really there," she confided. "I don't want them to look in my eyes and see no one home." That fear is entirely understandable. Our memories are more than mere thoughts. They shape our identities. When that narrative begins to fray, even slightly, it can feel as if life is slipping through our fingers. However, it's important to remember that cognitive decline is not always a given. The brain has an incredible capacity to adapt. It can forge new connections and can be stimulated and nurtured in ways that keep it vibrant and responsive. Engaging in regular physical activity, maintaining social connections, getting quality sleep, staying hydrated, and continually learning new things can all help safeguard your mind. And beyond prevention, there's another vital truth. Your worth does not vanish with your mental sharpness. Even if your cognitive faculties begin to fade, your presence still holds value. Your spirit continues to impact others. Your smile remains meaningful. The people who care about you won't diminish their love just because you forget a name. They will find you in other ways, through your voice, your warmth, your shared history. If this fear has been lingering, don't ignore it. Instead, take proactive steps to care for your mind. Stay curious, stay connected, and remember that you are so much more than your memory. As we move on to the third fear, let's talk about the anxiety of outliving your money. Even individuals who have worked diligently, saved carefully, and planned for retirement often harbor a persistent fear after reaching 80. What if I run out? This concern about financial stability, about seeing savings dwindle faster than anticipated, can generate profound anxiety. It's not merely about paying bills. It's tied to dignity, choice, and the ability to care for oneself without relying on others. This fear isn't always about poverty. Sometimes, it's about the uncertainty of it all. Healthcare costs, unforeseen emergencies, and the reality of living longer than expected all add to the feeling that one's financial foundation might crumble. For those who grew up during times when thrift and responsibility were essential for survival, the idea of not having enough doesn't just cause discomfort. It feels like a personal failure. I remember a man named George who was 85. He had saved diligently his whole life, owned his home outright, and had no debts, yet he still felt a knot of worry every time he opened his checkbook. "I just don't know how long I'll be around," he shared, "and I don't want to be a burden to my kids." Despite not living extravagantly, he felt the constant pressure of making his money last. The fear of the unknown began to steal his joy, preventing him from enjoying life fully. It can inhibit someone from turning on the heat in winter, from saying yes to a dinner invitation with friends, or from purchasing something small that could enhance comfort. This fear can restrict your world not because you're broke but because you're afraid you might be. So, what can help? First, knowledge is power. Understanding what you truly have, what your actual expenses are, and how to manage your resources can restore a sense of control. Second, communication is key. Speaking with a financial advisor, a trusted family member, or even a local senior support center can alleviate some of the pressure. You don't need to know everything. You just need to share the burden of worry with someone else. Lastly, grant yourself permission to enjoy what you've worked hard to earn. You've put in the effort, planned, and been prudent. Now is not the time to be ruled by fear. Instead, focus on spending wisely, not anxiously. A fulfilling life isn't about hoarding every penny. It's about utilizing what you have to care for yourself, build connections, and maintain the dignity you deserve. The fourth fear is about being forgotten or left behind. There's a loneliness that cuts deeper than simply being alone. It's the fear of being forgotten. For many older adults, especially after turning 80, this fear extends beyond receiving fewer phone calls or visits. It touches on a deeper emotional pain, the quiet ache of feeling invisible, as if the world is moving ahead without you. You may feel like just a name in a phone book that no one checks anymore. Even individuals with loving families can experience this feeling. Children get busy, grandchildren grow up, and friends may pass away or move into care facilities. The social network that once held your life together begins to fray, and the silence that follows can be more deafening than any crowd. I recall a woman named Dottie, who was 86 years old, sharing with me, "I don't mind being alone. What I mind is feeling like no one would notice if I disappeared." She wasn't being dramatic. She had family, yet she felt that the hardest part of aging wasn't her sore knees or thinning hair. It was the feeling that she no longer mattered in anyone's day. No one asked for her opinion or needed her help. She transitioned from being the center of activity to someone on the periphery. This fear is potent because it strikes at the heart of our sense of purpose. We all want to feel needed, and when that feeling begins to fade, it can lead to sadness, depression, and a gradual withdrawal from life, not due to health issues, but rather from a lack of meaning. The truth is, you are not invisible and there are still ways to reconnect. Start small. Reach out to someone with a note, share a memory, or offer a compliment. Be a listening ear. Tell your story because someone may need to hear it, even if they don't realize it yet. This creates presence. The more you show up emotionally, socially, and even spiritually, the more people will begin to notice you again. And if the people around you aren't making space for you, create a new space. Join a discussion group, engage with your neighbor, and remember, you're not too old to matter. In fact, your wisdom is needed now more than ever. The world doesn't forget you on purpose. It just moves quickly. Sometimes it requires a gentle nudge to remind others of your presence. As we transition to the fifth fear, let's discuss the profound dread of losing a spouse or a close companion. After reaching 80, one of the most significant fears many carry isn't their own passing, but the loss of that one person who has been by their side through life's ups and downs, a spouse, a best friend. The fear goes beyond the grief of loss. It includes the anxiety of losing the very rhythm of life you've known for decades. The routines, the quiet conversations, the shared memories that no one else understands quite the same way, all that is at stake. When someone close to you passes, it's not just their absence you feel, it's the shift in your identity. You transition from we to me, from our home to my space, from brewing 2 cups of coffee to realizing you only need one. That change can be disorienting, even if you anticipated it. I knew a man named Bill, who was 87 and had been married for over 60 years. He once told me, "I'm not afraid of dying, I just don't want to be the one left behind." When his wife passed away unexpectedly, he described the experience as having a limb removed. The pain was not just physical, it was an imbalance that affected him deeply. He struggled to cook, to sleep, and to engage in conversation without her voice echoing in his mind. "She was my memory," he said. "She knew things about me that I don't even remember anymore." Such a loss is not something one simply gets over. The fear of it can cast a long shadow over daily life. What matters more is how we prepare, not with dread but with presence. Cherish the time you have left, have honest conversations, share passwords, recipes, memories, and stories while both partners are still alive. For those who have already faced this loss, the fear often transforms into a longing. How do I keep going alone? The answer isn't straightforward, but it often begins with connection. Find new ways to express love, to feel needed, and continue writing your own story with grace. No one can replace what was lost, but new chapters can still hold warmth, meaning, and even unexpected joy. Grief is love that has nowhere to go, but remember, your life still matters, your heart still beats, and there are people who care enough to help you make the most of it. As we reach the sixth fear, let's discuss chronic physical pain or illness. As we age, we expect to experience various aches and pains. But for many people after 80, there's a deeper fear, not of the pain itself, but of being trapped in it. The thought of spending your final years in constant discomfort, day in and day out, can be more frightening than death itself for some. After all, it means suffering without an escape. It's not the sharp pains that most terrify people. It's the dull, lingering ones that seem to follow them everywhere. Chronic pain has a way of wearing individuals down, not just physically, but also emotionally. It can disrupt your sleep, diminish your appetite, and drain your energy. Over time, it can darken your mood, shorten your patience, and steal your desire to connect with others. And perhaps most challenging of all, chronic pain can be invisible. You might appear to be fine on the outside while carrying an unbearable weight within. I remember meeting a woman named Harriet, who was 84 and lived with constant back pain due to degenerative disease. She shared, "It's not the pain itself. It's waking up knowing it's still there, like an unwanted guest I can't get rid of." She wasn't seeking sympathy. She was looking for relief, a brief escape, something to lighten her days. What makes this fear especially daunting is the perception that nothing can help. People often say, "Well, that's just aging, leaving you to suffer in silence." But it doesn't have to be that way. Pain management has advanced significantly. Options like physical therapy, gentle movement, meditation, dietary changes, and new medications or non-drug treatments can help ease the burden. All you need to do is speak up. Advocate for yourself, even if it takes several attempts to find someone who genuinely listens. Additionally, addressing the isolation that chronic pain brings is equally crucial. Chronic illness can lead people into smaller and smaller corners of their lives. The less you move, the less you engage, and before long, the pain becomes the focal point of everything. That's why it's vital to reach out, even when it feels difficult. Connection doesn't erase pain, but it can provide context. It can remind you that there's still beauty, laughter, and something to wake up for. You are more than your diagnosis. Though pain may come, it does not have to define your existence. Life still flows through you, and there are still individuals who care enough to help you make the most of it. Finally, we arrive at the seventh fear, being forced into a care facility. For many older adults in their 80s and beyond, there's a looming dread of being placed in a care facility against their will. This isn't necessarily because assisted living or nursing homes are inherently negative, but rather due to what that transition signifies: the loss of autonomy, privacy, familiarity, and control over daily life. The fear is not just about the location, it's about the decision itself. It revolves around the idea of someone else determining when you must leave your home, what room you'll occupy, and what time you'll eat. It's about feeling managed rather than consulted. For those who have lived their lives making their own choices, this loss can feel like a death in itself. I once spoke with a man named Harold who was 86, and he told me, "I'm not afraid of dying in my house. I'm afraid of being told I can't live in it anymore." He wasn't being stubborn. He understood the significance of his home. It was filled with memories of his wife, photographs of his grandchildren, and the old coffee pot that still brewed his favorite morning drink. The thought of leaving all that behind, not by his choice, but due to someone else's judgment, kept him awake at night. This fear often stems from a fundamental question: will anyone listen to what I want? Older adults worry that their voices will be disregarded by doctors, children, or well-meaning caregivers who think they know best. While safety and care are essential, so is respect and having a say in your own life. That's why discussing your preferences early, before a crisis occurs, is so important. Put your wishes in writing and share them with your family. Let them know not just what you want, but why it matters. If staying at home is your top priority, explain that. If you're open to certain changes but want to be involved in the timing and process, communicate that too. And families, it's crucial to genuinely listen. The goal should never be to control your loved one's life. Rather, it should be to support it, finding creative solutions that honor both safety and dignity. Perhaps it means part-time in-home care, downsizing within the same neighborhood, or simply checking in more frequently to postpone the need for a more significant change. At the heart of this fear lies a universal desire, the wish to live life on your own terms until the very end. The more we respect and honor that wish, the more peace we bring to those we love and to ourselves. As we wrap up this video, I invite you to reflect on these 7 fears, not as burdens to be ashamed of, but as truths that many carry quietly day by day. These fears don't manifest all at once. They creep in slowly, with a slip here and a silence there. Before you know it, you find yourself living cautiously, not because you're